All right, so get this. We're diving into the Premier League, and things are really heating up for Tottenham.
Yeah, they're not exactly setting the field on fire right now, are they?
Not at all, actually.
No?
We're taking a deep dive into a Reddit thread
Okay.
that is absolutely buzzing about their form, or should I say lack of form,
Right.
and the fans are letting loose.
Yeah, and what's interesting is it's not just wins and losses.
Mm-hmm.
This Reddit thread is dissecting
Okay.
a graphic of the Premier League form table,
Right.
which ranks teams based on their last 9 matches.
Okay.
And Tottenham are sitting at a dismal 18th place.
Oof.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
They're 15th overall in the league standings.
Okay.
And get this,
Yeah.
second in goals scored.
Hold on, wait. So they're scoring like crazy,
Yeah.
but still like tanking in the form table?
Yeah.
Something doesn't add up.
Yeah.
What are these fans saying is going on?
Well, the thread really highlights a pretty glaring issue.
Okay.
Their defense is looking shaky, to say the least. They're leaking goals left and right.
Right.
And it's dragging them down despite all the attacking firepower.
Okay.
So the fans are pointing fingers at a few things.
So what's got these fans so railed up?
So first off, the injury bug has hit Tottenham hard.
Oh, no.
The thread lists a whole starting lineup's worth of players on the sidelines right now.
Goodness.
Like their starting goalkeeper,
Oh, wow.
key defenders, midfielders like Bentancur and Bazuma.
Right.
It's a long list.
Yeah.
You rarely see this many crucial players out at once.
Wow. That's rough. I mean, everyone deals with injuries, but that's a whole other level.
It is.
Is this typical for a Premier League club, or is Tottenham in like particularly bad shape?
Well, injuries are a part of the game,
Mm-hmm.
but this is definitely on the higher end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is how teams respond to this kind of crisis.
Right.
Some clubs have the systems in place,
Yeah.
backup players who can step up seamlessly,
Right.
while others just crumble under the pressure.
Yeah.
So it's a real test of a manager's adaptability
Mm-hmm.
and the squad's depth.
So are these fans saying it's just bad luck, or is there something more to it?
Well, that's where the debate gets heated.
Okay.
Some fans are pointing the finger at Tottenham's manager,
Oh.
Ange Postecoglou,
Mhm.
and his tactics.
Okay.
They're saying his attacking style, while it's exciting,
Right.
leaves the defense exposed.
I see. So if you throw all your players forward,
Yeah.
trying to score,
Exactly.
it can leave gaps at the back.
Yeah, for the other team to exploit on counterattacks.
I see. So it's a bit of a high risk, high reward strategy.
Yeah.
And right now, the risk seems to be outweighing the reward.
Yeah.
But hey, at least they're entertaining to watch.
That's the silver lining for sure.
Right.
And the Reddit thread is definitely entertaining in its own right.
Okay.
The fans are finding some humor in this situation,
Okay.
especially with this graphic that they're analyzing.
Yeah.
It shows Postecoglou standing next to these dismal stats with a pretty stoic expression.
Okay, I've got to hear this. What kind of jokes are they cracking?
Well, one commenter compared Tottenham's 18th position
Yeah.
in the form table
Right.
to a glorious third-place finish in Australia,
Okay.
where Postecoglou used to manage.
Right.
It's like they're saying, hey, at least we're not at the bottom down under.
Haha. That's brilliant. It's amazing how football fans can find humor
I know.
even when their team's struggling.
Yeah.
But it's not all laughs, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the more serious concerns that they're raising?
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of worry about Postecoglou's future.
Mhm.
Some are already calling for his head,
Oh, wow.
especially with a massive match against Liverpool coming up.
Right.
They're saying if Tottenham get trounced, it could be the end of the line for him.
Whoa. That's intense. Liverpool is a tough opponent,
Yeah,
and the pressure is definitely mounting.
it is.
But on the other hand, he's dealing with this crazy injury crisis.
Yeah.
And trying to implement a new style of play, it seems a bit harsh to judge him so soon.
Well, that's the other side of the coin.
Right.
Some fans are urging patience,
Yeah.
arguing that Postecoglou needs more time to rebuild and get his system working, especially with so many players out injured.
Right. It's like, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Or in this case, don't judge a manager by his first few months,
Oh, yeah.
especially in the middle of an injury apocalypse.
Yeah.
But let's be real. How much patience do managers actually get at a high-pressure club like Tottenham?
Not much, unfortunately.
Right.
We've seen managers come and go at Tottenham like it's a revolving door.
Yeah.
The expectations are sky high, and the fans demand results.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair to Postecoglou, his situation is kind of unique.
Right.
He's inherited a squad in transition,
Yeah.
and he's trying to implement a very specific, very demanding style of play.
Right.
It takes time for players to adapt to that kind of change.
So what you're saying is it's too early to write him off.
Exactly.
Okay.
But that Liverpool match is looming large.
Right.
And the outcome could have a huge impact on his future. Let's face it, football is a results-driven business.
It all comes down to that, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got Tottenham struggling in the form table,
Yeah.
defensive crisis, an injury list longer than my arm, and a manager on the hot seat.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Where do we go from here?
Well, before we get too caught up in all the drama, I think it's crucial to understand the philosophy behind Postecoglou's approach.
Okay.
What exactly is this attacking style he's trying to implement, and how does it differ from what Tottenham fans are used to?
That's a great point. Let's break down the tactics and see what's working, what's not, and what it all means for Tottenham's future.
Let's do it. Welcome back. Before we went to break, we were talking about Postecoglou's tactical approach.
Right.
And you're right. Understanding that is key. It's not just about attacking.
Okay.
It's a whole philosophy. He's all about high-pressing, fast transitions, keeping possession, moving the ball quickly.
Right.
Demanding on the players requires a lot of energy and precision.
So picture this. You're a Tottenham player under Postecoglou. You're constantly on the move, pressing high up the pitch, trying to win the ball back as quickly as possible. It sounds exhausting.
Right.
No wonder they're racking up injuries.
Exactly. It's physically and mentally demanding.
Yeah.
But when it works, it can be breathtaking to watch. Tottenham can just overwhelm opponents.
Right.
Create tons of chances, score goals in bunches.
I'm starting to get why the fans are so torn.
Yeah.
On one hand, you have this exciting attack-minded style that promises goals and entertainment.
Right.
On the other, you have a leaky defense and a growing injury list. What's the solution here? Can Postecoglou find a way to make the system work without sacrificing his principles?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
And there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
It's all about finding the right balance. He needs to instill defensive discipline without stifling the attacking flair.
I see.
Think of it like a finely tuned engine.
Okay.
You need all the parts working in sync for it to run smoothly.
Okay, so let's say I'm Postecoglou.
Okay.
I'm facing this defensive crisis. I've got players dropping like flies. The pressure's mounting.
Yeah.
What are my options here? Do I stick to my guns and hope things eventually click?
Right.
Or do I tweak the system, maybe become a bit more pragmatic, even if it means sacrificing some of that attacking flair?
It's a tough choice. And every manager handles these situations differently.
Right.
Some are stubborn, sticking to their principles no matter what.
Okay.
While others are more adaptable, willing to make changes based on the circumstances.
So is there a right or wrong answer here?
Not really.
Is there a historical precedent for managers successfully adapting their style mid-season?
Right.
Or are you pretty much doomed if you abandon your core philosophy?
There's no magic formula, unfortunately.
Okay.
But history shows us that the most successful managers are those who can strike a balance between flexibility and conviction.
Okay.
They have a core set of principles, but they're also willing to make adjustments, based on the players they have, the opposition they're facing, the overall context of the situation.
It's like that saying, the only constant is change.
Exactly.
You've got to be able to adapt to survive, especially in a cutthroat league like the Premier League.
Yeah.
But speaking of adaptation, let's talk about Postecoglou himself.
Yes.
He comes from a very different footballing culture in Australia.
Right.
How is he adjusting to the unique challenges of managing in England?
That's another fascinating layer to this story.
Yeah.
The Premier League is a different beast altogether.
Right.
It's faster, more physical, more tactically sophisticated than most other leagues in the world.
Yeah.
And the pressure cooker environment can be overwhelming for managers.
Right.
Especially those coming from abroad.
So it's not just about adjusting his tactics.
Yeah.
It's about adjusting his whole approach to management.
Absolutely. Think about the media scrutiny.
Oh, yeah.
The fan expectations.
Yeah.
The constant analysis and dissection of every decision he makes.
Yeah.
It's a level of intensity that takes some getting used to.
I can't even imagine. It's like being under a microscope 24/7.
It is.
But hey, he knew what he was getting into, right?
Well, you would hope so.
What does his track record tell us about his ability to handle this kind of pressure?
Well, he's definitely a proven winner.
Okay.
He led the Australian national team to their first ever Asian Cup title.
Wow.
And he had great success at the club level in Australia as well.
Okay.
So He's not afraid of a challenge, and he's shown that he can build successful teams.
So he's got the experience, the tactical acumen, and the mental toughness?
Yeah, he seems to have the tools.
But does he have the right players to execute his vision?
Right.
Let's go back to the elephant in the room, those injuries.
Yeah.
How much of Tottenham's current struggles can be attributed to just bad luck?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's impossible to quantify exactly how much impact the injuries have had, but it's undoubtedly a significant factor.
Yeah.
Losing your starting goalkeeper and key defenders is going to disrupt any team.
Of course.
Regardless of the manager or the system.
Okay, so let's take the injuries out of the equation for a moment.
Okay.
Let's assume everyone's fit and healthy.
Right.
Do you think Postecoglou's system can work in the Premier League?
Okay.
Is it sustainable in the long run?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because on paper, his approach is very much aligned with the modern trends in football. We're seeing more and more teams adopt a high-pressing, possession-based style.
Yeah.
And it's proven to be very effective.
Right.
But the key is having the right players to execute it.
Ah, so it all comes back to the players.
It does.
Do Tottenham have the personnel to play this way?
Right.
Or does Postecoglou need to dip into the transfer market and bring in some reinforcements?
That's something he'll need to assess carefully. He's inherited a squad that's been built over several years. With different managers and different philosophies, there might be some square pegs trying to fit into round holes right now.
Okay, so we've talked about the tactics, the injuries, the pressure, and the players.
Right.
But there's another element to this story that we can't ignore. The fans. What's their overall sentiment right now? Are they buying into what Postecoglou is trying to build, or are they losing patience?
That's where the Reddit thread provides some valuable insights.
Okay.
And it's a mixed bag, to be honest.
Yeah, I bet football fans are a passionate bunch.
They are.
And they're not afraid to voice their opinions.
Exactly.
What are some of the key themes emerging from the thread?
Well, there's definitely a sense of frustration with the results.
Yeah.
Especially the defensive frailties.
Right.
No one likes to see their team leaking goals.
I hear that, but are they directing their anger specifically at Postecoglou?
Right.
Or are they recognizing the challenges that he's facing?
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
Some are calling for his head, saying he's out of his depth.
Right.
While others are urging patience,
Yeah.
pointing to the injuries and the fact that he's still trying to implement his system.
It sounds like there's a real divide in the fan base right now.
Yeah.
Some are ready to jump ship, while others are willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
What's your take on the situation? Do you think the fans are being fair to Postecoglou?
It's tough to say.
Yeah.
Football fans are emotional creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And they invest a lot of time, energy, and passion into their teams.
For sure.
When things aren't going well, it's natural for them to vent their frustration.
But there's a difference between venting frustration and being downright abusive, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've seen some of that, unfortunately.
Right.
Social media can be a toxic place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy for things to get out of hand.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that managers are human beings too.
Right.
And they're doing their best in a high-pressure environment.
That's a good point. It's easy to forget that sometimes. But back to the bigger picture. What does this fan reaction tell us about the state of Tottenham Hotspur right now?
I think it reflects the uncertainty and the anxiety that surrounds the club.
Okay.
They've been through a lot of upheaval in recent years with managerial changes, player departures, and a lack of consistent success.
So they're looking for stability, for a sense of direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're hoping that Postecoglou can provide that.
Good.
But it's going to take time, patience, and a bit of faith.
And a few wins wouldn't hurt either, right?
You got that right.
Yeah.
Especially with that Liverpool match just around the corner.
Yeah.
That game could be a turning point.
Right.
For better or worse.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. The tactics, the injuries, the pressure, the fans, and the upcoming Liverpool showdown.
We have.
What's next? Where do we go from here? Okay, so we've dissected Tottenham's struggles, analyzed Postecoglou's tactics, and even felt the pulse of the fan base through that Reddit thread. But now I'm curious, what's the long game here? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel for Tottenham?
Right.
Or are they destined for more of the same ups and downs?
That's the question on everyone's mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what's fascinating here is we can actually glean some insights from Postecoglou's past.
Oh, you mean like back in Australia?
Exactly.
Didn't you say he's known for building teams from the ground up?
Yeah, he took over the Australian national team when they were in a bit of a rut,
Right.
lacking a clear identity.
Okay.
He instilled a new philosophy, brought in fresh talent,
Yeah.
and completely transformed the team's style of play.
Wow.
It wasn't an overnight success,
Right.
but he was patient, he stuck to his principles, and ultimately he led them to glory.
So he's not afraid to take on a project to build something from scratch.
Yeah, seems that way.
That's got to be a good sign for Tottenham fans, right?
It could be, but the Premier League is a whole other level.
Yeah.
The competition is fierce, the pressure is immense, and the expectations are sky high. And let's not forget, he's trying to implement a very demanding, very specific style of play. It's not for everyone.
I'm starting to see the challenge here.
Yeah.
It's not just about bringing in new players, it's about finding the right players.
Right.
Those who fit his system, who are willing to buy into his philosophy, who can handle the intensity.
Exactly.
That's a tall order, even with Tottenham's resources.
Absolutely. And that's where the real test lies for Postecoglou.
Yeah.
Can he convince the board to back him in the transfer market?
Right.
Can he attract the right kind of players to Tottenham? And can he create the right environment for those players to thrive?
It sounds like there are a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah, there are.
And speaking of moving parts, let's not forget about the fans.
The fans, right?
How much patience do they have?
Right.
Are they willing to give Postecoglou the time he needs to build something special?
Yeah.
Or are they expecting instant results?
That's the wild card in this whole equation. Tottenham fans are known for their passion, their loyalty, but also their impatience.
Right.
They've seen a lot of false dawns in recent years, a lot of managerial changes, a lot of unfulfilled promises.
So they're probably a bit jaded.
Yeah, possibly.
A bit wary of getting their hopes up too high.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
But there's also a sense of excitement around Postecoglou's arrival.
Okay.
You know, he's brought a fresh perspective, a new energy to the club.
Okay.
And his attacking style of play is certainly entertaining to watch.
So it's a delicate balancing act, right?
It is.
He needs to keep the fans engaged,
Yeah.
keep them believing in the process, while also laying the foundations for long-term success. No pressure, right?
No pressure at all. But you know what's really intriguing is how this whole situation plays out in the context of Tottenham's history.
Okay.
You know, they've always been this club with enormous potential.
Right.
But they've often fallen short of expectations.
Yeah.
They're always chasing that elusive trophy, that moment of true glory.
So is this just another chapter in their ongoing saga? Or could Postecoglou be the one to finally break the cycle?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And I honestly don't think anyone has the answer right now.
Right.
We'll just have to wait and see how it all unfolds.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a fascinating ride.
Well said. This deep dive has given us a lot to ponder.
It has.
We've explored Tottenham's struggles, dissected the tactical nuances, felt the pulse of the fans, and even delved into the club's history.
And through it all,
yeah,
I think we've gained a deeper understanding of the complexities of football management, the passionate world of fandom,
right,
and the enduring appeal of the beautiful game.
Absolutely. So for all you listeners out there, we encourage you to keep following Tottenham's journey. Pay attention to the upcoming matches. Observe how Postecoglou handles the pressure, and see how the team evolves over time.
And maybe even jump into that Reddit thread yourself. Share your own thoughts. Engage in the debate and become part of the ongoing conversation.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what makes football so captivating.
Yeah.
The shared passion, the endless debates, and the unpredictable nature of the game itself.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This has been The Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed.
Until next time.